We are back in black in the motherfucking building. Shout out to everybody out there. Just come back. Oh, god damn. He ain't come back. Oh, man. That's okay, though. You just keep believing. He'll come back when he needs to. Shout out to everybody out there. If you're at Sunday school or, doing what you need to do to survive, you're at the Court Plantation. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to, everybody out there. Hey, my brother James Jumbler, hey, man, you ain't lying. I read that comment. You're not lying, bro. We had to have some lives about a whole bunch of shit, bro. The Dion shit. I know they lost yesterday. Hey, man, they ain't perfect. That's all right. I still got love for prime time. Shout out to everybody that's out there. Shout out to my brother Dave from No Compromise. Everybody that's out there. Everybody, my family, siblings, everybody out there. Because I can't remember everybody's name. As soon as I get on the mic, I get the blanket and shit. But shout out to everybody out there. This subject is going to be great because it's going to be talking about the great Dr. Claude Anderson, how he said there will be food and water shortages and we better be prepared and get you some fucking resources. So we're going to talk about that today. I got an article about it, starting in New Orleans. But don't think just because it doesn't affect you directly, it won't affect you indirectly. So let's get into it. Hey. Don't have me get to sing it. Yeah. Wait, how did new... I need auto-tune for the new R&B, Nah, I'm fucking with y'all. Man, I got this article, and I want to read it, man. Great article. An October saltwater intrusion could threaten drinking water in New Orleans, so they'll barge in 36 million gallons of fresh water a day. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is planning to barge 36 million gallons of fresh water daily into the lower Mississippi River near New Orleans as an expected saltwater intrusion from the Gulf of Mexico in October threatens the area's drinking water supply, officials said Friday. The move comes as water levels are plummeting for the second consecutive year after this summer's blistering heat and low rainfall triggered extreme drought over parts of the central U.S. As water levels drop, the threat of saltwater intrusion grow in Louisiana as ocean waters pushes north into drinking water systems, unimpeded by the Mississippi's normal mighty flow rate. New Orleans officials anticipate the city will see the effects of saltwater intrusion in late October, according to a Friday news release from the mayor's office. Please note that this timeline is subject to change, and the city will keep the public informed as the timeline is updated, the release stated. The Mississippi River is forecast to reach historic lows over the next several weeks, Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards said during a Friday news conference. To help mitigate intrusion, the state and the Army Corps of Engineers are working to add 25 feet of height to a 1,500-foot wide underwater levee in the Mississippi River, which was constructed in July to slow the saltwater's progression, Army Colonel Colin Jones said. The Corps also plans to barge millions of gallons of water daily to local water treatment facilities, John said during the news conference. The Corps announced the plan to build the levee last year. It involved dredging sediment from the bottom of the river and pile it up to create what's known as a seal, which acts as a dam for the denser saltwater in the lower levels of the river. Typically, enough rainfall upstream helps ease drought conditions and keeps the saltwater at bay. However, during the news conference Friday, the governor said officials do not believe that there's a sufficient participation in the near term anywhere along the Mississippi River to materially change the conditions for the better. Unfortunately, we just haven't had the relief from the dry conditions that we need, and so that inclusion is worsening, Edwards said. Oh man, this is hilarious. State to deliver bottled water in bulk to New Orleans. Jones said it will take approximately 24 days to add the seal. Once augmented, it will delay saltwater intrusion by 10 to 15 days, he said. 15 million gallons of fresh water is expected to be brought in as soon as next week, Jones said, adding that adding the area will need 36 gallons per day to help mitigate the problem. The water will be added to water at water treatment centers and create a mixture safe for treatment, Jones said. The governor also announced plans to deliver bottled water in bulk to the New Orleans area. New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell signed an emergency declaration of the city on Friday due to saltwater intrusion. The declaration allows city agencies to prepare and respond to any impacts and allows states, federal agencies to deploy resources as needed for a more streamlined process, the city said. Last week, Plaquemines Parish President W. Keith Hinckley said at a news conference clean water was being distributed to around 2,000 residents who were affected by the saltwater intrusion. It was not necessary to buy large amounts of bottled water. Edwards said Friday, there is not a shortage of bottled water around the state or around the country. Our businesses are going to be able to bring in water as needed, he said. Stop. Let me tell y'all something. What did Dr. Claude Anderson teach us in Black Labor, White Wealth, and Powernomics? He said that there will be food shortages and water shortages. Learn how to, you better get next to a farm. I keep telling people this all the time. I have these talk conversations at the gym. And it's so funny. The elderly people, they're not pushing back now. They like, man, you right, youngster. They call me young fella, youngster. You right. You know your shit. I said, no, I just got it from this book called Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson, or Powernomics. And in those books, he talks about how there will be food shortages, water shortages. He talks about this shit. This book was wrote in the 90s, in the early 2000s. Both of those books. And haven't they already done that here in Vegas where you couldn't get ass paper, toilet tissue, and you couldn't get water for like a month? And everybody was going crazy because they couldn't get fucking water? Y'all don't think that they will do that shit again? He said there ain't no water shortage. Yeah, look, let me tell you something. Most states get a lot of their water supplies from the rain or the snow. That's why you don't never hear about this shit in North and South Dakota or Montana. You don't ever hear about that. You don't never hear about water shortages in places where they get a lot, like Chicago, stuff like that, because the snow melts, turns into water. They can treat that water at a water plant. But places like Las Vegas, Nevada, Arizona, we get our water from nasty ass Lake Mead. And since we don't get a lot of rain, and there's 3 million people in Las Vegas, Nevada, what do you think is gonna happen here? The gas is already $6 a gallon. What do you think they're gonna do when there's no water? A gallon of water is gonna be like $8 a gallon. I've been telling everybody this for a minute. It's so funny, man, because now I'm getting different responses from people. Me and this OG's older brother, man, we chopped it up, and he was like, man, I think I'm gonna get the fuck up out of Vegas. I started laughing. He said, man, you right. They pulled that shit 3 years ago. He was like, motherfuckers was damn near drinking water out of their water hose because you couldn't get no fucking water nowhere. Like nowhere. Not groceries, like not gas stations, like nowhere. He was like, and you right. It doesn't rain often, and who's not to say that won't pull that shit again? And we don't have farms out here in Vegas. You're right. I said the last farm we had was the pig farm. That was in North Las Vegas. That man sold that pig farm for like $36 million. They built houses over there. That's why it don't smell like shit in North Las Vegas no more. Ain't no more pigs. They ain't got no fucking farms out here. How you gonna be a farm out here and it's 110 degrees from May to damn near August, September? We need to wake up, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Claude Anderson wasn't lying. They already pulled it once. See, if you live in places like, shout out to my brother James Youngblood and shout out to my brother David from No Compromise, and see, Philly gets snow. And Erica in Florida, y'all get rain, hurricane, like, so they can recycle that water and clean and treat that water. You know, Philly gets the snow, so I'm pretty sure they got water plants out there that when the snow melts, they get the water and they clean it. That's why you don't ever hear about no water shortages in like Philly, DC, you know, maybe, but not as much as it is in states where there's no snow and, you know, you get your water from the rain. Lake Mead is at disparaging level. Look, Lake Mead is so low, they finding all kinds of dead bodies in Lake Mead. That's how low the goddamn water is. You can't put your boat out there. You might as well you can stand in that water. I think the water's like 30 feet now. That water level ain't high. That's why I've been saying it, but I'm not gonna say it anymore. I'm only gonna talk to the people that understand. That's why that brother was like, man, I'm thinking I'm gonna get. He's like, what about you? I said, oh, I'm getting the fuck up out of here. Trust me. I'm already formatting my plan out. You're not gonna be able to pull that shit on me. Fool me once, shame on me. Ain't no 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Fuck all that. You're not finna say, oh, ain't no state tax, and then you're fucking me on my power bill, you're fucking me on my water bill, you're fucking me on my trash bill. You feel me? And then we don't got no farms. We don't get snow out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Everything is sky fucking high. Gas $6 a gallon. Nah, I've had enough. You can keep your non-state tax. I'd rather pay a state tax and all my shit be cheaper than not pay a state tax. You want to fuck me when I register my car. That's why people come to Vegas and they'll never register their cars here. Because you're going to get fucked. Oh, don't get no brand new car. You paying $1,000 out the gate. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if it's a 2023 Ford Pinto. Nigga, you're paying $1,500 for registration out here. They fuck you on they get you on every fucking thing. Now, and Vegas didn't used to be like that. Vegas used to be expensive to register the cars and shit. The insurance is goddamn high. It's like, man, fuck that. And you like, well, Warren, everywhere is like that. No, nigga, everywhere is not like that. So stop. I've been to Denver. Stop. Everywhere is not like that. Motherfuckers try to justify the means. I'm telling you, it was funny. We had this conversation all the time. It's me, everybody, we just chilling. You know what I'm saying? And we chopping it up, and they always be like, man, what you think about this, youngster? And I just be like, man, we ain't got no farms. We don't get no snow. We don't get a lot of rain. What y'all think gonna happen? They coming from the water. Everything gets driven in here. All the food. How do y'all think they able to? The food ain't real. How can you make this amount of food for 3 million people with no farms? Like I said, I've been to states where they got farms every fucking where. I've been in restaurants where everything is farm raised. I've been in fucking bars where they like, oh, this is for. I've been in like their little change. One of them, everything was from the farm. I was like, God damn. Even the goddamn bun. I had a what the fuck was that? They had a bison burger, half bison, half mushroom. I didn't eat that. I had a veggie burger, and they put everything that was in that motherfucker. I was like, God damn, mushrooms, tomatoes, onions. The condiments. You know how the condiments get the ketchup and all that other shit? Everything was gluten-free. Everything was from some type of farm or some shit. I was like, well, shit, at least the bun y'all just get from the store. That's like, nah, man, look on the list. The barn, we get it from the farm too. We get the bun from the barn too. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what you mean? He's like, barn, farm, that. I was like, oh, y'all get it from the farm. He was like, yeah. It's like, God damn. And I wasn't used to it, and it tastes better. And that taught me a lot. It taught me about what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been teaching us for years, man. You better go learn to be a farmer. You better get a garden. Oh, but my bad. You're not going to be able to really have too much success doing that bullshit here in Las Vegas, Nevada because of the shitty goddamn weather and the goddamn caliche dust that blows every 5 fucking minutes. My bad. Trust me. I've tried. I've gotten a lemon tree before. Got the soil, did everything. That motherfucker had a little bit of bees going around it. Man, that motherfucker lasted about a month. And I got it during spring. Trust me, I'm not just running my mouth. I've tried. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, and this is not to disparage Las Vegas. I've had a lot of fun in Las Vegas, and I've come to have a big time respect for Las Vegas. I was able to accomplish a lot out here in Las Vegas, Nevada, but change is constant. And sometimes you just got to change the situation. You got to move aside to move ahead. And with this being a water shortage out there in New Orleans, and they get a lot of rain. I know it's coming to Vegas. I know it's coming to Vegas. You can't tell me nothing about it. That's why you don't ever hear about that sucker shit. You don't ever hear none of this goofy sucker shit in like North Carolina, South Carolina. You don't ever hear about it in Florida. Not like that. You don't ever really hear about it in Philly and New York and New Hampshire and all those other places. Yeah, they got the snow and all this other shit. All right, and you definitely don't hear about it in Georgia. There's too many farms out there. There's too many farms. Too many farms. Dave, no compromise. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You don't ever really hear about that shit in Texas either, because they got farms big time out there too. But the states where it's not a lot of farms and agriculture and shit, where they get the shit from, man, you fucked. That's why when we had these conversations, I just listened to everybody like, oh, well, it's everywhere. And then, you know, one of the brothers that me and him real cool, he'll be like, youngster, what you think? And I'm like, nah, actually, it's not everywhere. I said, think about it. If you have farms and those local farmers are producing big time product like corn, potatoes, you know, meat, you know what I mean? For the slaughter, chickens, you know, all that other stuff. You ain't got to go to, you know, your local grocery store. He was like, yeah, but that means they got a lot of farmers, and I don't really think that exists. I said, well, that's funny, because I went to a state and I saw nothing but farms everywhere. And every restaurant I went in, not a food chain restaurant from the United States of America, I'm talking about a local restaurant, all their shit was farm raised. Everything, from the eggs to the bun, on the burgers, to the type of meat. I said, actually, you know, if you want to be technically speaking, I actually went on a farm. And they had llama, they had lamb, they had bison, they had regular beef, they had chicken, they had eggs. I actually went there. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's expensive. I said, nah, actually, you get 10 steaks for like $20. What the fuck is you talking about? I was there. I said, I got some raw honey. Then he shut up. Then the other OG brother was laughing. Because it was, I think it was a Latino or somebody like that. And I was like, a lot of times people just don't know the history. And they haven't traveled. So they just going off of, see, that's why I'm glad I got myself into travel. I wasn't raised to travel. So now that I'm doing all my traveling and doing all this, no, nigga, you can't tell me. I've been to states where they got farms every goddamn where. I'm talking about, it was so many goddamn farms when I was like, god damn. Every other motherfucking corner was a farm. Corn, potatoes, like all kinds, like, god damn. And when I went on that farm and looked in those freezers, it was bison meat. Like, I said, god damn. The first thing I thought about was my mom. I said, man, my mom would go be in hog heaven in this motherfucker, because my mom loved to grill, cook, very good cook. And, you know, she would always complain about the price of meat out here in Vegas. And we would always have those kind of conversations. And I'm like, damn, I wish my mom was alive, because, man, she would be in the hog heaven out here with all this goddamn meat on the farm. Straight from the farm? You're not going into no grocery store? Man, get the fuck out of here. The reason you like, why are you talking about this? Because we need to understand. Like I said, I got love for prime time, and you know, I know they lost or whatever, but this is, you know, that's entertainment. This is reality. This is facts. And we have to understand this. Just because, oh, that's down south, it don't affect us. No, motherfucker, it will affect us. We never thought we would get an earthquake, and we got one in this motherfucker. We never thought we'd get a hurricane, and we got a little bitty hurricane. So these are just things that we have to understand and wake up about. That's why I'm glad I read that book, Black Layer, White Wealth, by Dr. Claude Anderson. The Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson. That's why I listen to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. See, that's the thing. David, another subject. Where are these churches teaching how to farm? Where are these churches teaching people, hey, you better learn how to start a garden and grow your own shit. You better learn how to figure out how you can get your own water supply. Move where they got a water well, or move where they got a whole bunch of aquifers under the ground, or you got to move to a state where, hey, I'm sorry to say this, but where they have snow or something where they can collect that snow. You know, the snow will melt, turn into rain. Turn into regular water, then they can treat it at a water treatment plant. You know what I mean? Like, this is no diss to nobody. You know, everybody, I get it. Everybody can't afford to move. Everybody can't. I'm just saying, you better stock up on water, be ready to go. You know what I mean? You better get you some alkaline water, or get you some I forgot the natural pH balanced water of 7. I think it's 7.5. It's on like $1 a gallon. I'm blanking on the name of that water, but I'm telling you, you better get you some water, because it's coming here, whether y'all like it or not. Look, I'm gonna propose a series of questions for y'all. David, James Youngblood, everybody out there. If you got time, give me some feedback. Why is it they're trying to push people towards electric and electric cars and electric this and electric that? But when you look at the United States of America Armed Forces, they not using no electric planes. They're not using no electric Hummers. So, but why y'all want to force, and don't we pay for armed forces? Don't our taxpayer dollars come out of that? So why is it y'all trying to force the American people to electric cars, electric this, and get away from gas? But then when it comes to our armed forces, like the Nellis Air Force Base, these planes be flying around all goddamn day, and they ain't no goddamn electric plane. When are you gonna build an electric Navy ship? An electric Navy submarine? An electric F-16? A fighter pilot? Like, why don't y'all go electric? Y'all go electric and we go electric. The reason why I'm saying that is because they so quick to push that shit off on the commoner, because we're commoner. Fickle crowd. We just move property. We'll just usher them to anyone. That's why, look, they tried to blame the hurricane. Oh, the oil. They've been wanting to raise the gas prices in major cities like Vegas and LA and in Houston and Dallas and New York and all these places and Florida, like big metropolitan places. They want to raise the gas because they want to force motherfuckers to go get electric cars. I'm telling you, they're ushering you into a new system. Why Elon Musk is fucking getting filthy rich. This is what I don't like about these Fortune 500 companies. Most of y'all don't even know. A lot of these Fortune 500 companies are backed big time by the government. Government gives them a lot of money. Lots of it. So if the government gives these Fortune 500 companies a lot of money and we get taxed by the local government or the federal government, why don't we have say-so on how these Fortune 500s conduct business? So we gotta wake up. You better go get you some spring water. I'm just saying, these are just things that we need to ask. I don't think people understand that. I'm like, all of a sudden the gas is damn near $6 a gallon. I say, see, here we go with this bullshit again. That's why I said, you know, one of the things that disappointed me the most about Vegas, I said, Vegas, you could never be California. You'll never be California. California has the best weather ever. You're never going to be California. California has what's called beaches, not nasty as Lake Mead. And what Vegas is trying to do is go away from the old school of just gambling and make it a sports town. But guess what? In the lieu of that, it's going to make it unaffordable for the average black person. Because the average black person cannot afford the prices that they're charging out here in Vegas for everything. So you want to charge me $6 a gallon for gas, then you want to raise power 52%, and then you want to raise the water? Oh, you can't have grass out here. If you see people with grass, they paying a lot of money to keep that grass up. You can't have grass out here. I've been to states where I've been to states where all you see is grass. And you say desert landscape, they like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm like, oh, just rocks in front of the rocks. We don't do rocks out here. We do grass. You just water your lawn. I'm like, oh, y'all don't have water restrictions? Water restrictions? We get snow every year. We don't need no damn water restrictions. Like I said, and then you know what started being revealed to me? Dr. Claude Anderson. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because of the shit that they were saying all this time. Like Dr. Claude Anderson's been saying this shit. They're gonna be food and water shortages. Like, they're gonna do it. I'm telling you. They're going to do it. So you better be ready, because it's gonna happen. Remember this. If you ain't got no farms, you ain't got no natural resources in your state, and your state is heavily reliant on things being shipped in and drove in, you're fucked. For real. Especially if you're in a city where they got 3 million people, you ain't got no fucking farms. And you got nasty ass Lake Mead. Come on. And we share Lake Mead with Arizona and California. So Lake Mead isn't just all to ourselves. They've been talking water shortages since the 80s. Stop. That's why you don't hear places like Seattle, Oregon, you know what I mean? North, South Dakota, Wyoming. Boy, you don't hear them fucking, you don't hear Iowa. You don't never hear those places where they like, oh man, we got a water shortage. They be looking at you like, man, water shortage? You better get your ass the fuck up out of here. And then those places like New Orleans, of course, because New Orleans itself is highly populated with people. And I don't know if they got a lot of farms out there. I don't know. I've never been to New Orleans. I'm planning on going one day, but I'm just saying, like, we got to wake up and listen to what Dr. Claude Anderson is talking about. Makes a lot of sense. I've been saying this shit for years, whether people like it or not. But hey, man, go stock up on your water. Go read this article. Matter of fact, just Google New Orleans water shortage. Guilty, nigga. I'm out. Peace.